Here is a simple tree painting, and observe the shape of the tree you are going to paint and how they fit into your overall piece. Are they tall and slim, short and round, and large and majestic? And next step is to begin by making a line with a flat brush or round brush into your desired colors. You can add a large limb or two to bigger trees. Here I have made a large limb using round brush size 2. Spread the branches randomly, depends on your style of the tree, whether it abstract or realistic. Practice the small limbs across the trees. Having a good idea of what exactly you are painting will help with your composition. Style of painting is matters most. First you have to decide which style of painting you are doing. Do you want to paint a hyper realistic group of trees, a more painterly style, or an abstract tree, a comic book type of tree, or something completely your own style? Whatever you decide to paint, it's best to start with a few tips on color mixing and observe the shapes of the tree. Some important things has to be observed. The other thing is, observe the shape of the tree you are going to paint and how they fit into your overall piece. Are they tall and slim, short and round, large and majestic? Do the branches stick out randomly like a bat case of a bed head? Are they mostly in shadow or in direct light? Are the trees all of the same species, or are they different types of leaves and colors on the some of the trees? Having a good idea of what exactly you are painting will help with your composition. You can add a few leaves or whole tree to fill in gaps you don't like, or add a dead tree to make it more interesting. The great thing about art is that you can take a reference photo and make it your own by adding or subtracting a few artistic touches. Painting tree is more about recreating the patterns and shapes you see than placing each individual leaves and branches in the right place. Color mixing for the trees. You can mix several shades of greens with a palette of blue and yellows to give your scene more interest and give you more flexibility over with the colors in your painting. A good palette to start with would be ultramarine blue or phthalo blue, cadmium yellow, burnt umber, white and alizarin crimson, and a tiny touch of black for the painting leaves and trunks. Here are some basic mixes with cadmium yellows and some kind of rainbow colors. There are many more combinations you can mix to get almost a color you want. Add more yellow to make them lighter, or more blue to make them darker. When you finish with your tree trunk, add some foliage to your tree. Start with the darkest color of your palette. Here I have used a black color, and you can use a flat brush or fan brush for the foliage purpose. Here I have used some old brush with rough bristles, and you can just simply lightly touch on your paint and lightly dab over the different branches, and don't cover it completely but just enough to give it some background. The dark color will act as a shading for your tree. Next, add some of your mid-tone in the same manner, filling in a few more gaps and adding some depth. Don't go overboard. Most of the trees have some sky showing through, and you want to leave enough dark color showing through to add some shading. Now, finally, you can add some light tones and highlights to make your tree to pop up. So do this lightly with your fan brush or your flat brush, just here and there, to mimic the sun hitting to the leaves. So the tree painting is basically just three steps or three layer of shadings. First is laying a dark background, and next is adding a mid tones, and final is adding a light tones. So these different three shades give you proper realistic touch, and also depends on your style of your or how you use the brushes and how you make the tiny dots it appear as a leaf. So these are the important factor to make the trees looking beautiful.